Evening intuitives, and thank you for putting up with this channel being monetized now. I don't know exactly how those ads work because I have a premium account and I don't watch my own videos. So I do know I don't have any control over where the ads go. However, I do have control over some things. So I refuse to put unskippable ads on my videos. So there's something. And yeah, I'm not doing like subscriptions or anything like that or a Patreon. But, if you've liked my videos and I've provided good advice and it is the Yule season, if you want to hit the thanks button and, send me a $5 or a $10 as if you're buying me a beer at a bar. If I was giving you this advice there instead of through a screen, that would be much appreciated because my working hours are limited, giving my duties as an executor of an estate and all the fun stuff and paperwork that comes with that. So welcome all those of you that are new, to my no thrills, just me talking into a microphone, INFJ / narcissistic abuse recovery / witchcraft / whatever I feel like channel, because it's mine. I do what I want. Yeah, which gets me into trouble sometimes, even when doing what I want is the right thing, but when it challenges the status quo, that's automatically bad, apparently. However, now that I'm done my tangent, I'm going to get into the topic of this video, which is why spirituality is so important for INFJs. Why are we so damn spiritual? Why is a higher understanding so important to us, no matter what our religion or spiritual beliefs may be? However, we do have an aversion, most of us, to organized religion, yet we're highly spiritual. Ooh, once again, the walking paradox we are. So, INFJs, we love to learn things. We're never done learning. We want to learn, stuff we're interested in. We want to know all we can about it. And we have this higher understanding of, like, how's that possible, or what we can do to make what's seemingly impossible possible. That saying amongst our kind, it's the impossible just takes longer. Yeah, so, but we seem to have, it's pretty common among us that we have some belief that there's some form of higher power, and most of us are curious if we can tap into said power and bend the rules of chance. That's, that's a really simplified way of explaining what a spell is, which I have in another video. But it's not just limited to people like me. It's the same can be said of those in the Abrahamic faiths. And by the way, happy Hanukkah to all of you that are in the tribe, as are many of my close friends. So I think it's the second night tonight. That sounds right. So yes, happy Hanukkah. But there is higher mysteries and deeper spirituality within the Abrahamic faith. Judaism has Kabbalah. A lot of my friends are in that. They're essentially Jewish witches. And even there's Christian mysticism, which if you are of the Christian faith and you're also an INFJ, I'm gonna give this angel his own video because it's the angel that I work with. That's right, I'm not just in the dark stuff. Kind of a gray witch. If this was Star Wars and not witchcraft, I'd be a gray Jedi, not a Sith. Purple lightsaber, not red. I use dark stuff for those who deserve it, like rapists. They had it coming. But if you look at the archangels, they have personalities too, and there seems to be, one that coincides with each personality type, while some have multiple. But of course, in true INFJ fashion, the one that coincides with us and what we're into is quite elusive and not well known. He probably likes it that way. But if you are a Christian or a Jew, or I think a Muslim too, not too sure, but because this angel is mainly in the Kabbalistic and Talmudic, Talmud, can't say the sorry. But anyway, it's the Archangel Raziel, the keeper of secrets, the secrets of God. Look him up. I'm going to do a video on him soon, but if you're an INFJ and you're in the Abrahamic faiths and, you're looking at like some form of mysticism, you got to look into him, because if there's an Archangel who's an INFJ, it's him all the way. It's definitely Raziel. So yeah, I would highly recommend, if that's your thing, to look into it. That's the angel I work with. I got a sigil and everything. I'll bring it down and do a video. He'll get his own video. But INFJs, like that mysterious nature of what could be possible. It's also what draws us to things like Atlantis. Like, what could be possible? Is there some higher level of consciousness? Is there some other realm, like the astral realm, that with enough practice we can break through into? And across the face, it's INFJs that typically think yes. That's why most of us are into meditation, into mantras, into crystals. Yes, witchcraft too. And as I said, there's witchcraft in pretty much any religion. Witchcraft on its own doesn't mean dark arts. Quick tangent. And I'll get its own video too. If you break down magic under the three main umbrellas, there's white arts, which like angelic magic, dark arts, which, believe it or not, that's where Lilith and Lucifer fall. Dark arts can also be called gray arts because it's kind of in the middle. And then you have black arts, and I don't mess with that. I'm more in the dark arts. I'm in the gray zone. But so magic on its own isn't necessarily evil, and I'll explain those in detail in another video and explain to you why for those of you that aren't familiar. But the idea of bending the rules of chance, being able to use our consciousness to connect with some higher being, is very appealing to an INFJ. And it's almost like we're drawn to it in a way too, because our intuition, when we first start understanding it, almost seems supernatural. As I said, Carl Jung himself, who was an INFJ, couldn't really explain how introverted intuition works. It is the most mysterious of the 8 cognitive functions. So being INFJs, a lot of times, especially as children, before I knew any of this stuff, people would wonder, like, psychic abilities, clairvoyant and all that. And I didn't know what to think. Being a hereditary witch, I'm like, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, so, but, I mean, there's a psychological aspect to that too. But it does beg the question, and we question ourselves as INFJs, like, where does this ability come from? Like, is it possible that INFJs simply not only are more drawn to these higher spiritual powers, but that given how our brains work, we're able to tap into it, more easily than other people? Or does our intuition simply help us to trust that, we are connecting to some higher power when we attempt to? And not every attempt works, believe you me. But the idea of something bigger than us, whatever it may be. I mean, I'm trying to think if I know any atheist INFJs. I know some deist INFJs that are like, yeah, there's a higher power. I don't know anything about it, but it's there. What it does, don't know. Deism's pretty cool. That's what most of our founding fathers were. Well, technically you can say they were in the occult because almost all of them were Freemasons as well. But I digress from that. And like I said, mysticism spans into every faith, everyone. So, but it's, how do I want to word this? As INFJs, we want to know the why behind things, and spirituality helps answer that question, or attempts to answer that question, as to why things are the way they are and how they can be different. INFJs don't accept the status quo. We're idealists, so we look towards like what could be possible, and the idea of bending that chance, connecting to these higher powers, and making that idealistic reality possible, with the right moves, with the right knowledge. We tend to be drawn to that. So that's why a lot of INFJs at some point in their life look into a lot of different spiritual paths and try to see which one's calling to them. Like I said, INFJs are very spiritual, but however, INFJs very rarely stay in whatever religion they were born into, if they were born in the one. Because think about it. What kind of spiritual journey is that? Like, oh, I was born into this, and that must be the right answer, because of course. It's pretty close-minded. And I'm not saying to those of you that are Christian, maybe Christianity is your path. However, at least give me this. How do you know if you're in the right denomination? I mean, what are the odds that you were born a Baptist, for example, and, Southern Baptist is what really connects to you? Maybe if you went to a Latin Tridentine Mass, which is very mystical and mysterious, even I admit that. I have my issues with the Catholic faith as a whole, but I have great respect for the Tridentine Mass. So, you don't know, like, maybe you're believing in the right entities, but not in the right way. You know what I'm saying? Like, Maybe if you were Jewish and you were born in the conservative movement, maybe, Kabbalistic reform movements speak to you more and speak more to your beliefs and what you believe the faith to be. Because at the end of the day, it's mysterious and we're big into mysteries. INFJs have a hard time accepting absolute power and authority, especially something with spirituality. So our spiritual journey is specifically like how we connect to that higher energy, to that deity, and what our experience is, not what somebody else is claiming that it is with no proof. I'm not proving or disproving these higher entities exist. I'm saying that no other human can tell you exactly what they're all about and how they're going to treat you. You have to connect to them yourself. I don't, I'll give my own personal example. I don't care what anybody says about the goddess Lilith. I know she babies me like a toddler and is very protective. So I know she's been slandered and maligned and she's long overdue for her own video. But, that's my experience with her. She accepts me. I don't think I don't, she won't accept anybody. I don't know. I can't speak for her, but it doesn't seem like the type that will. But in my case, that's, the most like protective, motherly goddess out there for me, and it's worked out well. So again, being INFJs, we like to find out our own answers, trust our intuition. So your intuition in your spiritual path of what's calling you, what it's like to connect to that higher power is what's important, not what somebody else is telling you it is. Because think about it, you don't know everything about that other person. Maybe there's things about that other person that they don't want you to know. And there's the thou doth protest too much attitude, especially in Christianity. I'm going to give you a little witchcraft secret. So, I know some high-end conjurers, and wink, wink. There's a lot of like charismatic pastors that have a spirit companion. You know what they have? A succubus. That's right, because they help with self-confidence and all that, and not to mention, the obvious thing you do with a succubus. So, there's that hypocrisy notion in some of them. So, I'm not saying all Christian preachers are bad. I'm saying the charlatans are out there. If you're watching this and your faith is Christianity, I'm sure your pastor or your priest is fine. I'm talking like the mega church people, the Joel Osteens, the Benny Hinn's, who's that one that I can't think of his name? The old guy who said demons are in the plane and that's why he needed hundreds of $1,000,000 for his own plane. Those are the guys I'm talking about, the ones that are in it for the money. I respect people's religious beliefs as long as they're true believers. I have some friends that are traditionalist Catholics, and I respect that they're true believers. I won't stand for a lecture from a Catholic who goes to church on Christmas and Easter, and that makes sense too. Why? Because we're INFJs, all or nothing. I accept, even if it's something I disagree with, I accept that somebody's all in because they're committed. They're the real deal. I don't accept this is what you're supposed to put the veneer of on for, status quoism and tradition. Yeah, no, either you're in or you're out. Yeah. So whatever you think your path is, I suggest that you explore whatever is calling to you. Listen to your intuition. Find your own answers. Talk to the right people of whatever deity or power you're trying to connect to, and see if you're able to make contact, and see what it's like when you make contact with that entity, and find out for yourself what that entity is really like. I mean, I'll be honest, Lilith was calling to me for years before I finally connected to her, except for she helped me with a few hexes. And given what I knew about Lilith, I was terrified at first. I'm like, you're the queen of the damned. No, Lilith is awesome. And we'll save him for another video. There's somebody else who's pretty awesome who's been maligned too. I think you know who he is. But again, it's all about how you connect with that deity. And an INFJ is all about their own spiritual journey, our search for higher knowledge, our search for this higher power that may or may not be able to help us in our lives, may or may not be able to obtain hidden knowledge that we thirst for, put the piece of that all-important puzzle together in our head so we can, become what we want to become. And maybe we need that spiritual journey to get past the self-doubt, get past all that. I'll say it again because I know a lot of people who watch my channel are Abrahamic. Archangel Raziel. Check him out. Dead serious. Archangel of intuition, a lot of things. Like just really, really awesome angel. My favorite. So I'll do a video on him, I promise. But not many people heard of him. But if you're an INFJ and you're in of those religious beliefs, he's definitely like the archangel for INFJs. Just putting it out there because a lot of people never heard of him. Let me know what you think of this video. You know, like I said, I'm not telling anybody what to believe or what not to believe. I'm telling you to go have your own journey and find out what calls to you personally, because we're not all meant to walk the same path. We're not all meant to walk the same path, even if you're of the same beliefs. Different paths. Yeah. So please like and subscribe, watch my older videos. If my channel or this video in particular has been helpful to you, go hit the thanks button and please send me $2, $5, $10, $50, whatever you can spare, and if you think, you know, I have earned it. And again, happy Hanukkah to all of you of the tribe, and you know, stay safe, guys. And ladies. It's holiday season. People can get a little erratic. Ooh, almost forgot. Trust your intuition when connecting with a deity. Find your answers and what that deity is telling you. What matters is your relationship with that deity, not somebody else's or what somebody else's is telling you. It's the same thing with, like, you know, if you were dating someone who got rejected by someone, you know, if you got rejected, if a friend of yours got rejected by a girl that you were chasing, of course, you know, that friend's going to slander her because he didn't get what he wanted. And remember, don't sell out your integrity just to fall in line with status quoism and traditionalism. It leads you to living a lie.